Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Osama Sayyid from Islam after Ahmadiyya.com. This video is brought to you with deep sadness for the events that are unfolding in Gaza, Palestine. The murdering, Israeli forces are murdering women, children, men, elderly, disabled people, any Palestinians. They're just murdering them, pretending to under the guise of, they're pretending to be killing the Hamas resistance fighters. So they're bombing these houses, shops, everything, They're just bombing anything. And they keep saying that they're scared of the rockets that are being fired at them, but they've got rocket interceptors which intercept 90% or something of their rockets anyway. So hardly any Israelis, I don't even know how many actually got killed by rockets so far. About 150, at least 150 Palestinians have been murdered in the last approximately week or so. Every few minutes that there's a bomb landing on people's houses, a bomb lands on someone's house, everyone inside is going to die. Can you imagine what it feels like to have a building land on top of you? The roof, the walls land on top of you. You'll be lucky. You'll be wishing that you die instantly. You would not want to be alive while all that rubble's on you, missing your legs, missing your arms, squeezing on your lungs, squeezing on your chest, you can't breathe. You'd actually be praying to die instantly rather than to be lying under concrete rubble. And God knows when people are going to find you. God knows that when they come to try and help to find you, the machine that comes to come and lift the rubble goes straight into your body and kills you anyway. So do you understand what is going on for the poor Palestinians right now in Gaza? Can you understand their pain? You have to understand. I'm giving you these vivid descriptions so you understand this is what they are going through. While we are all just watching television, going out, going to our jobs, going shopping, thinking about what shoes to buy. This is what is happening in this world. This is what's happening. Most of the mainstream media do not want to report it. Because most of the mainstream media is controlled by the Zionist state of Israel. Not Jews, Zionists. We're distinguishing between Jews and Zionists. The mainstream media is mainly controlled by them, and so the majority of the public have no idea that this sort of thing is happening. They have no idea. They're not being allowed to have empathy for the Palestinians because they don't want to show you that the really disturbing images of the Palestinians, of their houses, of elderly women, of elderly men, or any man or woman who has nothing to do with resistance, nothing to do with fighting back. Which, the resistance is fine anyway. There's nothing wrong with resisting criminal Israeli forces taking your land by force. There's nothing wrong with resisting that. But anyway, those people, Hamas, whatever, they accept that they can die in battle. But what about the ordinary people that the Israeli criminal state is murdering? Every few minutes they're murdering people. This is not being shown to the people in UK, in Europe, in America. It's not being shown. That's why you see a lot of people, they're just going about their daily lives, they're not bothered. If this was put in the mainstream media every single day, I would think more than half the people in the UK of all races, religions, they would all be walking on the streets protesting. They would all be protesting. But it's not allowed to be put on the media. This situation, of course, is shameful. Doesn't do justice. It's disgrace doesn't do justice. This is a real tragedy. It's a real tragedy. And what's the relevance of this subject with Ahmadiyya? The relevance is that the Ahmadiyya organization, to date, today is Sunday the 13th of July 2014. Until now, the Ahmadiyya organization has not publicly made a statement condemning the state of Israel for their criminal, murderous acts. They haven't. They haven't stood up and said that. If you people remember the sad case of this soldier who was murdered in London not so long ago, his name was Lee Rigby. Very sad situation, the way he was killed by these people. Obviously misguided people. They didn't know, they had a stupid plan in their head and they went and killed this guy. Created nothing but havoc for the Muslims because it's such a stupid thing to do. You don't do that. You don't need to kill anybody, especially not in that manner as well. That very, very bad way. The way they, it was a very, how do you say? It wasn't a straightforward killing. I mean, they cut him and they stabbed him and they ran him over. It was very disgraceful, the whole affair, from start to finish. But the Ahmadiyya organization were very quick to offer the deep regret for this situation. That's one guy. That's one person, by the way. We're sad for his death, but that's one person. Look at how many Palestinians are getting murdered, just ordinary people. Even this guy was a soldier. He still doesn't deserve to get what happened. He doesn't deserve what happened to him. But at least he was a soldier. Doesn't justify, but I'm just telling you, at least he's been in an army. He's had some sort of battle experience or something like that. He's had some sort of military training, that sort of thing. What about these people? They are ordinary people. Imagine an old lady, her house being bombed and the whole house landing on top of her. Can you imagine the pain that she felt? And they probably don't die instantly. Can you imagine how much pain they're going through? The little children, they have no idea. They should be playing with toys. They're getting killed. And if they're not getting killed, they're losing an arm. They're losing both legs. They're losing all their legs. They're losing their eyesight. They're going deaf. They're getting brain damage. They're getting paralyzed because of concrete landing on top of them and their spine. They get paralyzed. This is what's happening to these people. All they want to do is just live on their land. That's all they want to do. They just want to live on their land. Yet the Ahmadiyya organization and their leader, Mirza Masroor, have not condemned the murderous criminal acts of Israel. They have not condemned it. And why? Any Ahmadis listening, this is some news to you, okay? If you don't already know it, Ahmadiyya organization is a supporter of Israel. They support Israel. They invited Shimon Peres, this mass murderer, Shimon Peres. He's an Israeli statesman. They invited him for dinner in their Ahmadiyya headquarters in I believe it's called Kababir. And their head, the Ahmadi leader of the area, gave a passionate. He made a video showing his passionate, gratitude or thanks, or praising the Israeli government, the Israeli state. How could you do such a thing, knowing what this state stands for? How could you even say one good thing about them? How could you do that? This is why, if you're Ahmadis, if you're listening and you're thinking to yourself, how come this Mirza Masroor hasn't said anything about it? But yet they went on about all this Lee Rigby stuff, and let's go raise charity money, and let's go do red poppy appeal, whatever that stuff, raise money for the soldiers and all this stuff who go into Iraq and all sort of thing and kill innocent people. How come Love for All, Hatred for None organization is supporting soldiers? Is the world upside down or something? Love for All, Hatred for None, and non-violence Ahmadiyya supporting soldiers who carry guns and shoot people and blow people up with bombs. Use your brain, please, Ahmadis, and think about it. Let this sink into your brain and see the hypocrisy. How can your organization say love for all, hatred for none, when you're always going and raising money for soldiers? When your organization supports the Israeli state? How can you say love for all, hatred for none? You have to see the hypocrisy. Your organization is continuously just wanting to suck up to any opponents of Islam. They're sucking up to them because those opponents, they support Ahmadiyya. Those opponents of Islam, they support Ahmadiyya because Ahmadiyya is against Islam. Ahmadiyya is the form of Islam that these opponents, including Israel, they want everyone to be that form of Muslim, the Ahmadi form of Muslim. Why? Because you don't put up any sort of resistance to their plan. Think about it. If all the Muslims in Palestine were Ahmadi, what would they be? They'd be complete complete pushovers. You go in, no fighting, love for all, hatred for none, give us your land, okay, here you go, take it. That's what would happen. That's why the Israeli state supports Ahmadiyya. Use your brain and you understand why. You'll understand why the Israeli state and Ahmadiyya get along so well. It's because of this. They think, they would wish that all the Muslims were like the Ahmadiyya, followed the Ahmadiyya organization. Not only would they be controlled by Mirza Masroor, he tells them jump, they jump. He'll tell them leave the land, leave the land. They would do whatever he's told, they're told. That would never happen though. The religion of Islam, the religion of Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ is the religion of truth. It's the religion of justice. It's not a religion of going and oppressing people. The religion of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is a religion of slavery. It's a religion of slavery. It's not Islam. Ahmadiyya is not Islam. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was not a Muslim. And before you get all upset, he took himself out of Islam. If you look at our videos, he took himself out of Islam of all his beliefs. And he declared all other people who don't accept him non-Muslim. Any Muslim who hears Mirza's claim and says, no, I don't accept him, Mirza said he's not a Muslim, and he says that in Tadhkirah, page 346, I believe, the English Tadhkirah. So this is the situation, and this is why I've created this video today. Because of my anger, because I want the Ahmadis, the good-hearted Ahmadis, the sincere Ahmadis out there, who you really think, because you're giving so much money to charity and sort of thing, you do have a good heart. You do, I'm telling you, I believe you do have a good heart. And most of my colleagues, all of our colleagues, we say the same thing. Most Ahmadis have a very good heart, but it's misguided. You don't know that you're in an organization that is a hypocritical organization. It's a corrupt organization. It's using Islam as the front for it. It's not really Islam. It's just a pretend. To get in there, get in the middle of the Muslims, get more people to join Ahmadiyya, leave the normal Islam, corrupt religions, corrupt the beautiful religion of Islam. This is what Ahmadiyya is. And the good-hearted Ahmadis, you have no idea that this is what you're part of. And we're trying to alert you to this. We're trying to alert you to say, realize what you're part of. Realize that when you see, any Ahmadis getting killed, you should not be part of this organization. You should not think that that's a martyr. You should not think that you are going to be martyred. You shouldn't, because you're part of an organization of a false prophet, a despicable character called Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, India. This man was shameful, and if you see our other videos, you'll see from his writings why we say he's shameful. But you sit there thinking that, oh no, our master is Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No, it's not. Because Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said that his coming is greater and more stronger, more fierce than the coming of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's coming. And obviously, he's told you that you're kafir, you're not a Muslim if you don't believe in him. How come believing in the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not enough to be a Muslim? How come? How come you're not a Muslim now because Mirza Ghulam says, if you don't accept me, you're not a Muslim? He's basically putting his importance more than the Holy Prophet's importance sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because you can't say they're not Muslim now, but he did say it. So now we come back to our original subject. The Ahmadis out there, you have to understand the history of Ahmadiyya. You have to understand the history of Israel. You have to understand the history of Zionism. Now, it's not Judaism. Judaism is a peaceful religion. The Torah is a peaceful religion. It came as a message to human beings at that time. Obviously, Prophet Jesus ﷺ came afterwards, Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ came after with another message. But it came from Allah, and Allah is not an unjust being. He sent it as a guidance. The Torah is guidance for people. Now, Judaism is against Israel. Now, most people don't even know this, again, because that's kept out of the mainstream media. You don't know this. They make you think, the media makes you think that anytime you say something against Israel, that's anti-Semitic. That's not true. We've got nothing against Judaism. And most Muslims need to be educated about this point. That Judaism is not Zionism. Zionism is Israel. Judaism is not Israel. I have met, and my friends have met, and many of my family members have met so many Jewish people and several rabbis. And these people are some of the nicest people you'll meet. Yes, of course we differ on religion, but there's no harm intended towards each other. There's no, oh yeah, let's kill you and all sort of thing like the Israeli state is doing towards the Palestinians and Islam. Judaism is a peaceful religion. And we have no problem with Judaism. We have got a problem, a huge problem. Whether you're Muslim or you're not Muslim. Atheists even can see what Zionists are doing. They can see what is this criminal state of Israel is doing. So we are all happy. We are all happy, and we should all be friends with Jewish people. There's no problem. But Zionist people, we will never be friends with them. We will never be friends with Israeli people. Israeli people who are happy with what their state is doing. They're happy to watch their state murder all these Palestinians for years and years and years, taking their land. You people, you don't know any history. If you don't know any history, let me give you a brief summary. After World War II, okay, let's say 1946, Palestine had about 1.8, 1.9 million inhabitants, okay? 2/3, or maybe more than 2/3 of them were Palestinian. 1/3, or maybe less, were Jewish people, and they lived no problem. They lived happily. There was no killing each other and all sort of thing. They've lived there for hundreds of years, no problem. Since Islam was created and since Judaism was there before it, they've never sat there killing each other. There's never been no wide-scale battles between each other, sort of thing. Live peacefully. You have your religion, I have my religion. We don't need to kill each other or nothing, right? Britain controlled that Palestine at the time after World War II. Britain said to them, yes, go in mass, all of you, from all over Europe. Obviously, because of what Hitler was doing, I don't condone what Britain did, but they said to them, okay, go there. But you ask yourselves, why did they do that anyway? They didn't need to do that because Hitler already got taken out in 1945. He was gone. But the British government at that time told them, helped them and assisted them to move into Palestine. And so their numbers increased. At the time, about 1946, 1947, Palestinians owned around 85% of the land. Now I have to say that clearly to you. 85% of the land was Palestinian. The proposal, a lot of of course, Jews moved there, but again, the Zionists are the ones who started pushing for the state of Israel, because the Judaism, Jews under the Torah, they're not supposed to have a state. It's in their Torah. You're not supposed to have a state or a kingdom. That's in their Torah. That's if you speak to any real, genuine Jew, he will tell you that, or she will tell you that. So the Zionists, they had a plan. They wanted to force their state in the Palestinian land. Okay? And they put forward a proposal to the United Nations. Now the United Nations, we all sit there thinking, oh, the United Nations are like impartial, aren't they? No, they're not. That's why they're based in America. That's why they're based in New York. Okay? They're there. They got formed as well after World War II. So they got the proposal put forward. Resolution 181 was put forward in the United Nations to propose a state of Israel being recognized and set up in Israel. And that proposal, can you believe this? The proposal was asking or putting forward that the state of Israel have 55% of the land. Now I just explained to you that 85% of the land was Palestinian, that over 2/3, so over 66% of the people in the land were Palestinian. Yet the Zionists said, no, we want 55% of the thing. So you've got less than 1/3 of the people, but you want more than half of the land for yourself. Okay? So this is what they put forward. And because of the people, again, this is a history lesson. Of course, the people today, you see all the Arab states, you see the way they're all run, they're all controlled by the US, and they're basically puppet leaders, right? That's true. That's true. All of them are puppet leaders, including Egypt, all of them. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, all of them. Kuwait, nobody will stand anything. Even Iraq now, they took Saddam Hussein out of the way. Libya is following suit as well. Nobody is going to stand against Israel anymore because they're all puppet leaders. But back then, back in 1946, 1947, they stood up. Even India stood up and said, no, do not partition Palestine. Do not make it two separate states and give Israel 55%. Do not do it. They all opposed it. Even, I think, Guatemala and Czechoslovakia, I think all these people opposed it. Just for your information. So there was genuine opposition from Arab states and non-Arab states, because they knew what that meant. If you give the Israelis that much land, what are they going to do to Palestinians? They're going to make them homeless. And that's what happened. By about 1948 or 1949, over 750,000 Palestinians were made homeless. They were removed from the land. And some estimates go up to about 1 million. But let's go with the lower one. Approximately 750,000 Palestinians were made homeless, removed from their land, and the Zionist Israelis took all this land and started saying, yeah, that's it. This is our state right here. Now, Resolution 181 in the UN, this was passed to the Security Council and it died there. It stopped. It wasn't passed. Okay? However, the lying, cheating, criminal Zionist Israelis, they declared, I believe it was in 1949, they declared the state of Israel and they said, yeah, Resolution 181 supports that. I just told you Resolution 181 failed in the Security Council. It failed. They didn't pass it. But they lied to the world and they said, yes, it is. So we are therefore claiming to have a state of Israel. We're recognizing ourselves as a state of Israel. And Palestine, let's remember, Palestine has never been recognized as a legitimate state. They don't have sovereignty. They don't have sovereignty. So Palestine, that's been there all that time, didn't get to be a state. But Israel came and just took over that bit of land, suddenly got themselves a state. Why? Because they had the backing of the US and obviously Britain as well at the time. The United Nations, which is supposed to stand for the rights of all the countries and freedom and all this sort of thing and protecting people's rights and don't take people's land and all this sort of thing. We know the UN Charter, you can go study it and you'll see it. Freedom for everyone's land, don't take over people's land, blah, blah, blah. You can't take land and say that's part of my country now, that's illegal. That's what Israel did. And the UN, I think it was 1949. I believe it was 1949. The UN, I think actually it was, 1948, the Israeli state was declared. May 14, I think it was, 1948. In the UN, they kept pushing for everyone to recognize them. The UN passed a resolution, I believe it was, I'm trying to remember my history here. I think it was 1949, March 1949, to the UN Security Council. They let the Zionists, they gave sort of legitimacy to the Zionist self-declaration of statehood, self-declaring themselves on their own, just unilaterally, saying that we have our own state now. And they gave legitimacy to the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians by saying that Israel is a peace-loving state. The UN said that Israel is a peace-loving state, knowing that Israel had already been ethnically cleansing the area, forcing the Palestinians out, killing whatever, forcing them by any means out. And the UN, can you believe it, said that they're a peace-loving state. Okay, this whole thing, this whole world order and everything, it's all set around the protection of Israel. Why? How is that? Because the Zionists, they've got themselves into many big positions in world politics. In the media, they control most of the media. They are in many of the Western countries. They are in the governments. In the USA, in Britain as well, there are some. And so this is why most of the world's agenda is for the protection of Israel. Most of the world's the dominates, is the USA. It's like the number one priority. Not the US people, again, I'm telling you, the USA politics, from the politics side, it's like the number one priority is to protect Israel. It's like they don't care. It's not like I don't think they really care as much about the normal American people as much as they care about the Israelis. What's the reason? Because there are many Zionists in the US government. So they make sure that their people, their Zionists, people in Israel are protected. And this obviously angers a lot of Americans because USA gives Israel approximately $3 billion. So $3,000 million every 12 months. Every 12 months. They're giving Israel $3 billion in aid. how much that could help the American people. Help them, the American people, $3 billion a year. So obviously a lot of Americans are very angry and very upset about this. But again, a lot of Americans don't realize that the Zionists control big parts of their government, and they make sure that the president that comes in supports their agenda. Even people like David Cameron says that he comes out and says he staunchly supports Israel. Now David Cameron, for you Ahmadis listening, David Cameron, Ahmadiyya are constantly sucking up to any British politician they can get their hands on. And David Cameron staunchly supports Israel. So Ahmadiyya, love for all, hatred for none, calling itself the true Islam. Why is the true Islam supporting people who are supporting others who are mass murderers? Why? Where is the true Islam? The Mahdi, isn't Mirza Ghulam Ahmad supposed to be the Mahdi, the guided one? How come his organization and how come he was so misguided? Why? It's because it's falsehood, that's why. This is not truth. Ahmadiyya is not truth. That's why Ahmadis, when you look at our videos, we show you the evidence from Mirza Ghulam's writings, you will see why his writings are so bad and everything, because he's not a genuine prophet. He's not from Allah. This is falsehood. Ahmadiyya is falsehood. That's why there are so many ifs and buts and maqsad here and ma'na here and all this sort of thing. And all that's metaphorical. And oh no, Mirza Ghulam is a shadow prophet. No, actually he's not a full prophet. Oh no, actually he's not a Shari'i Nabi. Oh no, he is a Shari'i Nabi. Oh no, he's not. He's dust on Holy Prophet's feet. No, actually his coming is more greater, more complete than the coming of the Holy Prophet. This is why, because it's all lies. It's all lies, and all the lies are catching up and they build up. So the Ahmadiyya organization offers you so many explanations to try to get out of the lie. Rather than them acknowledging and saying to you, no, this is falsehood, they will never do it. They will never acknowledge that it's falsehood. But rather than them doing that, they have to keep giving you all these twisted explanations. That's why Ahmadis get confused and they think, no, there must be an explanation to this. The explanation, my dear brothers, is that Ahmadiyya is false. And that's why falsehood needs so much explanation. It needs so many lines of explanation. Why? Because they have to change your thinking. It's thought reform. Thought reform. They change your thinking. They make your brain turn over, and instead of you seeing a situation correctly and realizing that this is wrong, they talk to you and talk to you and talk to you until they completely change your thought and make it seem acceptable to you. This is alright. Somehow, your organization will probably tell you that it's fine to support Israel because it's the Palestinian people's fault. You know, why is Hamas, for example, offering resistance? I've just given you a bit of history about the Palestine-Israel conflict. I just told you that the Palestinians, that was their land. I just told you that the British gave the land to they gave and forcibly put the Israelis there, the Zionists there, and helped them. And the UN also aided them in their own way. They helped them to establish their state and forcibly ethnically cleanse the Palestinians from the land. So your organization, you cannot accept if they try to say to you, it's the Palestinian people's fault. You cannot accept that, and you have to, your brain has to start ding, 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 alarm bells ringing. You have to start thinking, why would they say such a thing? If this is the true Islam standing for justice, how could they go and how can they support people like Israel, the state of Israel? How can they go and you get the leader of the Ahmadiyya organization there, as I said, praising them and inviting him for dinner. One of the statesmen, Shimon Peres, who killed many, many, many Palestinians, by the way. How can you invite him for dinner? So how is that really love for all, hatred for none? How is that true Islam? This is the point I'm trying to come to you. This is the gripe. This is the main gripe here. This organization is claiming to be true Islam. That's why when you say such a thing like that, you have to expect that you're going to get some heavy criticism. If this organization didn't try to claim to be true Islam and all sort of thing, we would just write it off and say, it's a political movement, man. The Ahmadiyya organization is fooling its followers by saying this is true Islam, and let's do what the Holy Prophet did, and let's say what the Holy Prophet said. No, it's not. This is, you're doing what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad did, and his khulafa, his successors. They're not khalifas because he wasn't a prophet, but his successors, all these Mirzas who came after him, they're all implementing the political agenda of their friends who are actually against Islam. Because that's the only benefit of Ahmadiyya to those governments, by the way. The governments who hate Islam, who fear Islam, which is mainly Israel, the only benefit of Ahmadiyya to them is Ahmadiyya to try to get more Muslims to become Ahmadi. That's the only benefit, because those people who become Ahmadi, they become non-resistant. And so then they will not resist, they will not produce, they won't have any threat, there won't be any threat to Israel. Think about it and ask yourself, and you will realize that's the only benefit of Ahmadiyya organization to the forces that are against Islam. Okay? Now you can realize that point. Now we're back to the Israel-Gaza point. The killings in Gaza. It is very important. For any brothers, sisters listening, please show your support. Try to expose. Show your friends, show your family, anybody forward the news reports about how the Palestinians are getting murdered. Show them, show their houses, show the things blowing up, show everything, because the mainstream media is doing its best actually to sort of water it down, quieten it down. And that's why a lot of the public, they're not in outrage. They would normally be outraged if this was in their face. If this was in their face, it would be some crazy outrage. If, for example, like I just told you, today, Sunday 13th of July, approximately 150 killed, thousands already injured, people have lost their limbs and everything. Now, can you imagine if that was just one terrorist attack? Yeah, and a building, let's say a building collapsed or something, or a plane crash or something like that. The whole world, it would be on the front page of the media for about, I don't know how many years even. They'd be talking about it for several years. This is going on right now, these poor little people just getting killed left, right and centre. And this is arguably worse because every few minutes a bomb is coming. So every few minutes those people are scared out of their wits. They don't know if they're going to die now, or they're going to die tomorrow, or they're going to die in the next 10 minutes. They don't know. So this is arguably worse. It's continuous. It's more, nightmare is not good enough. Nightmare, you can wake up from a nightmare. This is unbelievable. I can't fathom it. I've never been in that situation. I can't imagine what they're going through. So we have to share this sort of thing, inshallah. Make everybody aware of what's going on in Gaza. Make everybody aware of the truth about Israel, about Zionists. Make everybody aware that Judaism is not to blame for what Israel are doing. Judaism is innocent of what Israel are doing. We have to understand this. We have to explain to our family, our friends, Muslim brothers, explain everything to them. Explain the fact that Judaism, if you see, if you talk about Israel, don't say the Jews. Don't say the Jews. That's unfair. That's wrong. Say the Zionists. Say the Israelis, the Israeli forces. Don't say the Jews, because that's not fair. Because the Jews, as I said, true Judaism, they are not involved in any conflict. They're not interested in fighting at all. They don't want to kill anyone. They don't want to force people out of their land. They don't want to do ethnic cleansing. Judaism is not interested in that. So we have to be clear on this. Inshallah, we can do that. Another point, just to add to it. I mean, the whole angle here, obviously, this channel is trying to help Ahmadis and non-Ahmadis see the truth about the Ahmadiyya organization. See the truth about Mirza Ghulam's writings. See the truth so that they can make their way out of this maze that is called Ahmadiyya, because you're constantly being given, the Ahmadis are constantly being given contrary information. That, Ahmadiyya is a peaceful organization, that we're trying to do what the Holy Prophet did, and the other Muslims are the ones who are not going with the Holy Prophet, all this sort of things. The Holy Prophet ﷺ, and they're completely confused. We are trying to unravel it for you. We're trying to take you out of that maze. Let you take a step back, see the bigger picture, and see what this organization is about. This organization is not helping Islam at all, and it's not actually helping humanity at all, because their actions are increasing. I mean, we all know people who, anyone who used to be in Ahmadiyya, they know how the Ahmadis are controlled by the organization. They control a lot of their finances, they control a lot of their time, and most crucially, actually, they control their thoughts. They control their thoughts, because their leader, the Ahmadiyya leader, can just say anything he wants in any, khutbah or lecture, whatever you call it, and they will just follow it, because they've got this blind obedience towards him. So we're trying to clarify and straighten out this whole thing for you. Inshallah, we can do that. We've got the many more videos, of course, coming up. But inshallah, we need you to be aware. We want you to understand and ask yourself, I'm going to leave you on this point. How come your organization, Ahmadiyya organization, has not strongly or come out publicly and condemned Israel directly for what they're doing? What have they got to lose? When you think what they've got to lose, then you start realizing, oh, that's why they're not saying it. Because they shouldn't have anything to lose. Because if Ahmadiyya organization stands for truth and true Islam, then they should be able to come and say the truth about the situation without any fear. Without fear of losing anything. But they're not going to come out and say it. They're not going to say, how can David Cameron say he's a staunch supporter of Israel? How can he say that? Even President Obama mentioned Ahmadiyya, I think a few months ago or a few weeks ago. He mentioned Ahmadiyya. And Obama is a staunch supporter of Israel as well. So how can the true Islam be, how can they be sort of supporting or be pro when they say, when the Ahmadiyya organization always says to you, oh, always do itaat to the government, all this sort of stuff. Of course, we're not law-breaking citizens either. We're not Ahmadi, but it doesn't mean you're a lawbreaker just because you say you're against the foreign policy of your country, the country that you live in. I'm against the foreign policy of the British foreign policy. I'm against it. I'm against the US foreign policy. Going into Iraq, when Iraq did nothing after 9/11. Saddam Hussein did nothing to any American. He never killed one American, never killed one British person. So why did Britain and America go into Iraq, kill all those Iraqis, take control of their oil, and instill their own little puppet leader there as well? And then you hear your organization saying, oh, do ita'at to that government. The government that goes and does that. So we're saying to you here, wake up, and we're saying to you that we're not against the government. We are just angry about their foreign policy, but we're not criminals, we're not rebels or something like that. In fact, you have to also consider why your prophet, now I'm talking to Ahmadis now, why your prophet Mirza Ghulam, why in 1857 he wrote so many times about this incident that happened in 1857 when his father gave 50 riders and 50 horses to support the British in India to kill and stop the rebellion where the Indians were trying to kick the British out of India. They want their country back. It's their right. They have their right to have their country back. They want the British out. Mirza Ghulam, he so proudly writes in so many occasions in his books that his father gave 50 riders and 50 horses to support the British at that time, to trample on the Indians, to kill them, so that they don't take control of India back, take it back and kick the British foreign invaders out of their country. This is your prophet who you now, today, in the modern image of Ahmadiyya, telling you love for all, hatred for none, and peace, Muslims for peace, and all this rubbish that you see. It's all hypocrisy. Humanity first. It's all hypocrisy. Your own prophet was condoning violence. He was condoning violence, and violence against people who are rightly trying to take their country back. And eventually they did get their country back. They eventually did get their country back after World War II as well. So eventually the whole world recognized that it was wrong to colonize countries. So it was wrong for Britain to be in India. But at that time, Mirza Ghulam was saying, no, they're giving us religious freedom. Leave them, they're great, they're brilliant for us. We can't get the security here that we have in Mecca and Medina. This is what your Prophet Mirza Ghulam said. So then the world comes afterwards and says, no, this is wrong. Every country has the right to self-determination. You cannot colonize people. Let them have their own self-determination. Let them control their economies. Let them grow. Let them succeed. Don't sit there controlling and taking their wealth and bringing it back to your own country, which is what people like the British Empire did, the French did, other empires such as these. They did the same thing, and the whole world recognized it. How come Mirza Ghulam was pro keeping the British? He was so for it. He wanted the British to stay in India, but yet the whole world. So this Mirza Ghulam, the guided one, didn't even know that was wrong. And yet regular people, not even Muslims, came out and said, no, that's wrong to colonize people, let them have their country. So you see, my dear listeners, how the Ahmadiyya organization is a corrupt organization. You Ahmadis, most of you are very good people. you're not corrupt. Inside you've got goodness, but you are controlled by your organization. They're stopping you from thinking freely. And if you think freely, you will see the truth. If you take the blindfold off and read and check and research and investigate Ahmadiyya, the truth will stand very, very freely in front of you, and you will be very reassured. You will say straight away, you'll see the whole truth. Because truth doesn't need all these loads and loads and loads of explanations. You don't need all that sort of thing. You don't need the Ahmadiyya organization say to you, oh, don't read this thing, don't go on those websites, don't do this. Why? As Muslims, we don't need to say, don't go here, don't go there. We can talk and challenge anybody. We can talk with atheists, with Christians, with anybody. You know why? Because Islam offers the best answer, the best solution to the question of what is life about, what created us, why are we here for. Islam offers the best solution. Big Bang Theory does not offer the best answer. Having a Holy Trinity, this sort of thing, doesn't offer the best answer. This Islam, one God, one Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, one Quran, that offers the best answer to these questions. So that's why we are fully capable and fully confident about talking with anybody. We can talk with anybody. Nobody will say to a Muslim, no, don't go and read about the other sects or other religions. No, don't do that. Just read what we tell you. You never see that, but that happens in Ahmadiyya. They say to you, don't go on these websites. Don't talk to any mulvis. Don't talk to any sheikhs. Don't speak. Why? Why are they doing that for? Because they don't want you to realize and actually evaluate Islam and realize that Ahmadiyya is not actually Islam. They don't want you to realize that. They don't want you to get those Islamic values into you. They want you to have Ahmadi values. They don't want you to have Islamic values. And that's why they stop you from reading and this sort of thing. And so you need to open your eyes and take yourself out of there and look at our other videos, please. And Ahmadis, you have to please, Ahmadis, please. Look at how we are trying to speak with you. We are trying to genuinely talk to you with love and respect. I've got no respect for Mirza Ghulam Ahmad or his leaders. No respect. But Ahmadis who do not believe and do not accept the stuff that Mirza Ghulam has written, the stuff that we're showing, for example. If you do not believe in that stuff, we have respect for you. If you have read it and you respect it, well then that means you're actually, number one, you've gone outside Islam, and number two, you actually think that I'm not a Muslim either. Which means, why should I respect you for, right? If you're going to go that far. But you are innocent and they have no idea about this stuff and they genuinely just think they're following true Islam. We have a lot of love for you, a lot of respect for you, and we wish, inshallah, that you can see the reality of it and leave Ahmadiyya and free yourself and just be Muslim. And this is all what we want you to do. And obviously, because this video is all about, it's focusing a lot on politics and Israel and all sort of thing, I want you to really think about why Mirza Ghulam condoned and supported and is so happy to write about his father giving his 50 horses and 50 riders in support to trample on Indians who wanted their country back. When he comes to you and says, oh no, but we're peace and jihad with the pen and all this sort of stuff. Says to you, no fighting, no blah, 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 no blah. But then he condones violence. Why your organization go and raise money for troops and soldiers? What do soldiers do, my dear people? What do? They kill people. So why is your organization going raising money for soldiers who kill people? Why did Mirza Ghulam make a request for Janda? Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, when he was alive, he made a request for Janda for the soldiers, the British soldiers in South Africa, in the Transvaal. He made a request for Janda to give for the wounded soldiers. Again, killers. And in the Transvaal, they weren't just killing for the sake of some sort of real moral reason. They were there because they were stealing gold and diamonds. So they were there stealing. Mirza Ghulam, your prophet, who keeps saying, you think it's all about love for all and hatred for none, he was actually raising money for killer, thieving soldiers. So you see what I'm talking about? And now, today, modern day, you probably would have seen they're raising money for help troops or whatever, all this sort of stuff. They're doing all this stuff to suck up to the government. They're all doing all this stuff. There's so much good stuff you can do to help the country where you live in. We live in these countries. We can help our neighbors. We can help our streets. But why do you need to go and help soldiers? Why do you need to do that for soldiers who kill? Why do you need to do that for? When your organization stands for peace and stuff, why are you supporting soldiers for? This is something you have to think about. I know a lot of Ahmadis don't actually stop and actually ask themselves and let this sink in. They don't. They don't stop and ask themselves and say, hold on a second, this is hypocritical right now. We're completely going against what we are supposed to be doing here. So, okay, Ahmadis are not killing anyone, but we'll give money to the people who are killing people. That's what your organization is doing. So you have to wake up and see that, inshallah. Now I'm going to end this video now. Please remember, support the poor people in Gaza. Do not forget them. Remember them in your dua. Support, and the biggest thing you can do with your hand, we can't go and fight against Israel. We haven't got anything to do it. We haven't got anything to go against that terrorist state of Israel. We have not got anything to go and fight them with. But what we can do is let all the family, friends, your work colleagues forward on news reports, forward pictures, so we can make the public aware of what's going on in Gaza and in Palestine. That's what we need to do. Inshallah, I'll leave you on that. And this is Osama Sayyid from Islam After Ahmadiyya saying, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.